Comparisons.
Due to some violent content, parental
Okay, audio test. Okay, audio test. Alright, let's turn on the music. Get this show on the road. Yeah! Hello, hello, hello. I am your host, Crafty Andy, and this is Crafty Arts. So instead of just making a new video, I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different for this little thing going on here. Lint Flakes, hello, welcome. Get this promo shit out of here. There we go. So obviously you're here, you should be subscribed to this channel right now. And also there's the Weird Source channel for furry stuff and other commentary. Kind of a little more fun in there, I guess. This is for almost everything. So I really wanted to go over this Corridor Digital shit. But I didn't watch this video yet. It's only a minute long. This kind of sums it up, what's going on. So let's see what it's about. Then I'll go over we'll go over their short film. And then go over a couple of articles I found that I thought were just fucking cringeworthy and got me kind of pissed off. Just, I don't know, just how backwards and catastrophic it is over this AI art shit. Actually had a good discussion on the Discord I'm on, one of them at least, James Somerton's Discord, about how this AI shit's going to lead to nothing more than corporations using it to amplify their spam bots and get through CAPTCHA and spam us even harder for advertisements. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to be. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're excited to be back. Yeah, sorry for there was a little bit of delay because I was spreading the link around because, you know. Let's see if I can get anyone else on here. Hopefully they don't consider me spamming or some shit. See if we can get anyone on here. Oh, goodness. Alright, let's see what this controversy is. Make sure I get the audio right. So, Firefox. Yeah, music. We'll just keep the music off for now. Alright. Whoopsies.
People are canceling Corridor Digital. So if you didn't know, Corridor Digital are professional filmmakers who simply create great VFX stuff.
Okay, yep, that's bullshit. Alright, let's go over their fucking shit here. Let's see, what should we do? Do we just change animation forever? So let's go over that a little bit. So what they did is they made this anime. Rock, paper, scissors anime.
The frame ends up looking different, and the video gets super flickery.
And so they used this algorithm to, you know, figure a lot of this shit out as far as like how to paint these pictures and everything. And they didn't just type in a prompt, right? They went through the trouble of getting costumes, using green screen, taking tons of photos, apparently.
Boom, everything locked in. The consistency between frames was huge.
It just reminds me of, there was a feature on like cameras that's just standard called solarization. And it's actually in a movie in the 80s called Lord of the Rings. You might have heard of it. Oh wait, I gotta do 80s. Yeah. The unscary Balrog. So yeah, they used a lot of trickery here for like rotoscoping people in costumes. Let's see, where's the Balrog here? It looks better than I remember it.
I am a servant of the...
But yeah. It kind of reminds me of that.
Improved.
It's not that big of a deal.
Well, almost.
Alexander Smith, hello from Portland,
But we're
Oregon.
VFX artists who have worked with
Welcome.
Crafty video files. Surely, we must have a tool in our arsenal to deal with light flickering. So, we applied the deflicker plugin in DaVinci Resolve.
Hey,
and
that's what I
set it
use.
To remove flickering light. It
DaVinci
was that
Resolve.
simple. Suddenly, we were there. It was working. We had a consistent, moving, emotive cartoon character. And as
Wow,
always,
guys, it looks like they just typed in a few words and it made it all happen.
driven with video of us on a green screen.
This really pissed off a lot of people. We'll get into that soon enough. I'm just going over a little bit of what they did and the process of making it.
I love it. It's such an awesome way to work.
Hey guys, so we are commemorating the launch of this anime rock, paper, scissors video with an awesome limited edition.
Okay, yeah, t-shirts.
Image-to-image process, and the output.
All right, so let's watch what the results are. I'm not just going to watch their video entirely. We get the gist of it, right? They're using DaVinci Resolve. They're using a lot of effects plugins. They're using a lot of photos and costuming. And so let's see what the result is here. Let's bring it on. Alright, hopefully it's not too loud. Shouldn't be. Definitely has, like, to me, it has a unique style in the sense that it doesn't look like any other animation you've seen, right?
Father always said that you were the more artistic one.
Looks very
Have you
weird.
forgotten you're my twin brother? The creator dealt us the same hand of cards. I just played mine better.
Seeing this again, I can definitely see like the errors in
I will not share the
artifacting.
crown.
You will never wear it!
I've dedicated my life to governing, and the kingdom is on the precipice of starvation. The throne must be mine, or millions will die.
Have you forgotten you're my twin brother? We were born at the same time.
Let's
My
see.
claim to the throne is just as valid as yours.
Well, I'm sorry you traveled all this way for nothing, brother. I control the city garrison. I'll have you exiled.
Let us not forget the power to settle this lays in the palm of our hands. Do you remember what Father taught us about holy combat?
You dare suggest...
What did Father say, brother?
Here, in this holy house, in front of our Father and the Creator themselves.
For the crown, the throne, and the lives of millions under its rule, I challenge you!
You fool!
Snap.
You know not what you do!
I challenge you to rock, paper, cross blades!
Have you gone insane, brother? You project such confidence, and yet your eye quivers. I know you
Yep,
too
this is
well.
pretty much
If
anime.
I can read you so clearly, then how can I win? If I can read the slightest detail on your face, you can read mine. We're brothers. We think we're different, but on the seabed of instinct, where like weak sunlight, rays of thought are unable to pierce, we are the same.
Yep.
You will predict my every move.
Poor brother, I can sense your fear. We have spent every day of our lives together. You are an open book to me. It will be trivial to defeat you thanks to my ancient technique.
I can already feel him in my mind. The moment I pick my move, he'll know. For the good of the kingdom, I must win. But how?
One,
The answer is obvious when I
Rock,
think
paper,
about it,
crossblades.
but it terrifies me.
two.
I prefer the other one. Parchment, quartz, and shears.
He's in my mind. I must have no mind. I must eliminate all thought.
Three.
Yes, if I never make a decision, he will never be able to predict me. It's beautiful.
Yes. I wanna write that down for my D&D campaign. If we never make a decision, our enemies can't predict us.
Beautifully perfect. Father, you would be proud.
Shoot!
I mean, they have anime cooking shows that are like this, where they bake food and like their clothes fly off and shit.
Poetic. It appears we even share similarities in holy combat. No matter, the strategy holds. Onward as planned.
1, 2, 3, shoot!
Again? Does he know my strategy?
2 stones in a row. What are the chances?
Did he steal my notes? Did he follow me into the archives? No. Stay the course.
Don't change a thing.
It does seem like it's about to come out from the seams, like it's having trouble holding itself together, the way it's flickering with the shadows and everything.
The moment you let a thought enter your head, you lose.
Again! 1, 2, 3, shoot. My heart screams at me to change course, to throw paper and win, but I must not listen.
Is my plan too obvious? To never change the shape of my hand, not a conscious thought in my mind? If I am to be the master of this kingdom, I must start by ruling my mind.
This strains my will to its very limit. 4 rocks in a row? Spare us your churlish outbursts.
Father would be proud. Neither prince wavering in their resolve.
He still watches us, silently.
Huh? It can't be.
You just leave your father's corpse sitting there as an ornament in the kingdom?
Challenged me to rock, paper, crossblades. And for the wager, our lives!
The crossed blades? Father lost his life with the crossed blades?
The foolish old man had no idea of my power, and neither do you, brother.
Father, it's so obvious. I feel like a doll.
Oh, that is some jankiness going on with his lips there. Whoa, what is with that teeth? Gums flapping in and out.
We're twins, bound to the same ruts of the roadway of the
Maybe I'm just getting nitpicky with it now at this point, because it's like the 3rd time I've seen this.
He will only throw stone. It's how he defeated you, and it's how he plans to defeat me. And now that I know his secret, ending this will be trivial. Thank you for helping me see, Father.
For the entire kingdom and the crown.
Let's finish this. 1, 2, 3, shoot!
Yeah, like definitely got the anime down. I don't know. I still get kind of the Spider-Man from Spider-Verse vibes a little bit too. Whoa, whoa, whoa! What is with that hand? That is like some. That is some birth defect. Man, I mean, some surgery might have been able to fix that. It's got like this weird little like I can't even call it a crab hand. It's like some monster Power Ranger shit. Hey Dalen, welcome. Oh yeah, JoJo Bizarre Adventure. I definitely need to see that. People keep telling me to watch that. JoJo Bizarre's Adventure, bottom of Walmart bin. Yeah, like low tier rent. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. You're just gonna lock up on me? There you go. And surprisingly, it's still better animated than some animes. Let's figure that. You know, let's be real about this. There's a lot of animes that come out, and you know, Japan eats artists and shits out anime and manga all the time of various types that we never hear about. I don't have time. Well, I have plenty of time to pull it up. But there's a great anime that Moist Critical pulled up that was like the lowest tier on Crunchyroll, and yeah, this is still superior to that. Oh, he's getting his revenge.
Contributing to the satisfaction message. Subscribe to CorridorDigital.com. Now,
all right, so there was some butthurt going on here. I mean, it's nifty, right? Yeah, with the technology and everything. And if anything, this will just be used as a tool to help mainstream the process of animating things. Because you definitely still would need an artist. Not that Corridor Crew is an artist or creative in any way. If you had a large team, you would definitely be able to go in here and clean it up and keep it a weird style like this. You know, fix the shadows, fix the lightings. If anything, it could just be used as like a storyboard.
It's wavering in their resolve.
He's still watching.
See, I'm pretty sure all the comments are gonna be positive. See, this guy has his right idea here. Does this mean I'll soon be able to make my dream anime without divulging thousands of dollars? Exactly, right? That's exactly what I'm thinking, too. This is how I see it. I see how this would unlock creativity for a lot of people. When you don't have to have $100 million to make your project and another $100 million to market it, kind of open things up for other people to do their own thing, and that's how I'm seeing it too. I went into the AI prompts. I typed in certain things to relate to some pictures I'm working on, like the Ratchet and Clank commission I'm working on, and it looks like garbage. Yeah, it looks like trash. It could help with the concept of getting an idea, of getting a feel of what direction to go with, though. So let's get into these articles that I found here. This is the gist of it. Gist of it. And then I want to get into what I really think is going to happen with AI, with like the ultimate fear. But here's the first one. Corridor's Crew's AI video is a moral betrayal of everything animation stands for. I didn't know animation stood for anything other than an expression of vision and creativity and storytelling, but okay. Alright. We're not going to go through the whole thing. I got some notes on it. Let's see. So, we saw what they were able to do with it. I have several friends and colleagues who have spent their lives honing their skills as actors, artists, or writers, and now corporations will latch onto the dystopian idea of using AI to regurgitate hollow clones of their work that lacks all the emotion and soul that allows art to resonate with us in the first place. Don't they already fucking do that? Have you not seen the slew of Marvel movies for the last 20 years? I like the Marvel movies. I'm not gonna be one of these people that are just like, I am above such superhero nonsense. I love the Marvel movies, but a lot of those movies and a lot of movies in general that are mainstream kind of have a formulaic, kind of have a formula they follow. A certain number of key points. Like the first Avatar movie, when that came out, the biggest complaint of that was it was like Dances with Wolves. And I'm pretty sure, if I look it up, other movies with the same plot line as Dances with Wolves. I didn't look it up ahead of time. So, let's see here. Yeah, different movies with the same plots. Let's see. Hidden Fortress, Star Wars, Forrest Gump, and the Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Rocky Horror Picture Show, Phantom of the Paradise. Yeah, that's close. But you get the gist of it. Like, and then like the second Avatar movie the biggest complaint of that, I haven't seen it, was that it was just like the first movie, retold again. So they don't really need AI to regurgitate anything. They just do it themselves all the fucking time. What has Disney been doing lately? Remaking all their shitty, remaking all their good movies into shitty movies with less creativity, less budget, crunching their effects teams to make something that looks like fucking garbage. Responding to a canvas filled with deceitful lies. I mean, but as society shifts towards a desire for more content regardless of its source, that's already a true thing too. No client who hires you as an artist cares about how you make something, as long as you're not plagiarizing it outright and causing them a lawsuit. They don't give a shit where it comes from, or how you make it, or how long it takes, as long as you make it on deadline. I fear for the day when this becomes normalized. It already is, even without AI, and the average consumer never even thinks to question it. Already happened. This shit's already true. Without the AI. Those things scare me. Yeah, you want to see something scary? So, like, here's some other things too that this reminds me of. Actually, the anime crossblades thing. So here's a show on Adult Swim called Take Tone. Let's just mute that because of the copyright. You know, let's take a look at the animation on this. You know, it looks very tweeny. But yeah, they're having people like voice act and they're like animating over them. If I remember right, like they put the artwork in 3D, and they have a very streamlined process of when it comes to animating the mouse and everything. But yeah, it looks pretty funny. I've seen a few episodes. It's pretty nonsensical. Here's a movie where they took canvases and they made the whole thing animated on canvases with traditional painting. This kind of almost looks exactly like that anime crossblades parchment thing, rock paper scissors anime. How everything's like shifting constantly. That's up to quality. Wow, that's 720. Man, 720 looks like 360 to me now. All right. But yeah, obviously it's more consistent than what the AI is going to give you with that shit, where they're going over everything. But yeah, uniquely animated feature film right there. Can AI do that? Maybe. Maybe. You know, and it's fine-tuned and corrected and everything. It's very in the infant stage here. But actually, let's get to the next part here. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Nope. It's fine. There we go, yeah. The channel has garnered a following because, at least on the surface, it understands the hard work and ingenuity required to compete in such a field, likely encouraging young people to try their hand at things and perhaps one day even break into the industry. Sadly, a recent trend across its videos involves the implementation of AI as it uses popular programs and text prompts to produce pieces of work from nothing. Oh, was that from nothing? Was that all from nothing? Did they just go into the computer and say, make me anime, please? And it just regurgitated a bunch of shit that culminated into that. Out of nothing, huh? This reminds me of an article I read on, well, actually it wasn't an article, it was a video I was listening to about the synthesizer when it came out in the 70s. And later the 80s when it became more streamlined. And it was believed by a bunch of musicians that you're just going to be able to press a button and it would produce a series of melodies out of nothing. And that's what they thought the synthesizer was going to be. It's gross, and it goes against the ideology this channel has operated on for years. Does it really? It didn't come from nothing. They didn't just, like, snatch a video out of thin air and claim it was theirs. You constantly provide a platform for people who have worked in the visual effects field for decades, only to them make videos that bastardize their work in ways that might eventually put them out on the streets. Oh my god. And it's just another tool for us to use. It continues to blow my mind how ignorant some of these larger channels are, clouded by their own privilege to such an obscene degree that they fail to see exactly where this artificial road is taking us. Students in school right now studying animation or concept art, or children that have already ignited their own spark of creativity will have their chances at success snuffed out because a computer is doing all the work for them. No thanks to an ingenious new algorithm of world-changing development, but programs that bastardize the existing work of artists and writers to create Frankenstein facsimiles that will eventually put the original creators out of work. The work computers do is worse, but it's cheaper. The Corridor Crew's new video is unforgivable, and that's without mentioning that the end result looks like shit compared to the real thing. I would love to see this guy walk up to one of these people's faces and say, "What you did looks like shit. What you do looks like shit. You put no effort into it. You typed in a computer, and the computer did all the work for you." You're like, man. Let's see. Wait a minute. This one line here. The works computers do is worse, but it's cheaper. That reminds me of when digital painting was first emerging onto the scene in the 90s. See, so much of this is related to things before it, when it came before. Flash animation. Like, a lot of it looked like garbage because you, instead of like hand drawing the animations, you would just take a point and like an anchor point and screen and like marionette the animation so it looks like puppets. You know, it would look like this all the time for a lot of people who did Flash. It looked like, yeah, it was computers. It made things a lot easier to animate, and it looked like shit for a lot of cases. And that's why a lot of people pigeonhole themselves into doing comedy. Oh my god. I mean, how many people looked at how many people looked at the show Velma and said that looked like shit and didn't watch it? Like, that one wasn't made with computers and AI art. It still looks like garbage, does it not? I have a feeling like this person's so bitter who wrote this. I could pull up like one of the worst animated animes, and he'd be like, "That's still better because they did it themselves and not a computer." Oh, I can think of a few. Hopefully this comes up when I type this in. Let's see, where is it? Maybe this one.
If you were to build an anime from the ground up, right? But Nora just transcends that. Nora, you know, like if there's a line graph and, you know, here's Berserk 2015 and, you know, let's put that on there, and then like Gunbuster is way on the opposite. Stuck in some kind of weird ass backwards mode that I didn't know how to get it onto, but then it's
here we go. This it's not stuttering, it's not being cut off. This is the actual animation of like a 90s anime right here.
Mode that I didn't know how to get it onto.
Boom, boom, boom. That 3 frames right there.
And then you start, you know, you realize it hits you.
But you know, it's automatically better because they hand drew it, right? What else we got from this? Okay. Whew. Okay. Do we change animation forever? Positions itself as a groundbreaking step forward for the medium. It begins with the team talking about the current trajectory of processing media with AI and how visual noise prevents the technology from creating a clean image free from stark artifacts. Their solution, and one put forward by many other influencer hacks, is to turn an image back into noise and process it that way using any number of auto-generated prompts and ideas. In theories, this will remove set issues, but it also feels like you're trying to solve a problem that wouldn't exist if you had the creative talent to avoid abusing AI in the first place. Yeah, you know what that requires? It requires a lot of fucking money. And it requires a lot of goddamn time. My friend Frederick, who's making a Fox in Space, like he spent I don't know like a couple years working on this 40-minute cartoon here for part 2. Now he didn't use it. Obviously, he didn't use an AI to help the process at all, but he did find a lot of technology to help the process, such as Blender, using the grease pencil tool to make the characters models, like 2D models that he could use and manipulate that way, rather than redrawing it for each frame, which I imagine sped up a lot of the process for him when it came to making this. And he has a one animation team, unfortunately. He does not have a lot, many people helping him, if any at all, right now. Oh, hold on. I'll be right back. Oh my god, it's so hot in here. Holy shit. I am sweating. Well, yeah. There's plenty of ways to speed up the process. Like, I remember a lot of people used to think digital painting was just cheating in itself. Being able to use the undo button and layers. Can it handicap some artists when it comes to learning? Sure, it definitely can, because there's a lot of people that get the idea that it's easier all of a sudden because you can have a computer do stuff for you. Or you can just do it on the computer, you don't have to worry about your making mistakes as much. Which kind of can turn into making it take longer. Because you're not learning the proper way to draw things out and block things onto the canvas. Alright, let's see, here we go. In theory, this will remove said issues, but it also feels like you're trying to solve a problem that wouldn't exist. Yeah, create a team. Even the model they use in this video is trained on Vampire Hunter D, a copyrighted work they don't own, but are more than content with pilfering from. Oh, so now it's pilfering when you use something as an inspiration, all of a sudden, huh? Now, so the term steal like an artist all of a sudden doesn't apply to this now, because you have an algorithm training on some other property. Yeah, that makes sense. Film was garbage. Joshua and Promised Land, trashy but good, or goated, or do you mean to say goated there? Like, yeah, if I made an anime inspired by Vampire Hunter D, no one would say a fucking word. But because if I use like an some kind of AI generation to speed up the process for me, all of a sudden now I'm ripping it off. Okay. Let's see. What's the next part of this? I had focused. I bet a good percentage of its audiences are creatives themselves and have watched this new video only to have an already lingering fear brought to the surface, or bro to the surface. Right now, we are already... Hey, maybe if you ran an AI on this article, you can fix this spelling error right here. You know, don't we have spell check? This fucking AI spell checking our articles for us? What's going to happen? People are going to forget how to spell things. We have spell check. Instead of me paying an editor to go over every script I write to fix any spelling mistakes, I use an AI to auto-correct my spelling mistakes, putting that person out in the streets. Okay, right now we're already seeing the corrupt seeds of AI spreading throughout different mediums and paranoid conversations unfolding about, what do you mean like this one? Paranoid conversation? Unfolding about where this will take us and how we should respond before it's too late. Our complacency is already fast becoming our undoing. TikTok filters, Chat GPT, the countless other programs come across as fun distractions for most people, yet they're also the bedrock for losing the humanity that helps art achieve greatness in the first place. Once that emotional tangibility fades away, we are left with cold streams of code and nothing more. To see that descent into nothingness unfold before my eyes is difficult to stomach. Wow, man. Cope. Oh my god. Okay. I'm just gonna read what I wrote down here, verbatim here. You know what? No person half-assing it will ever achieve anything near anyone who puts their true effort and creativity behind something. Digital art, for example, in some ways makes painting easier because this is there's an undo button. But all in all, when it's said and done, people can detect people can detect when something's amateur. Definitely, no matter what. So as this technology evolves and more people use it, people are going to be able to figure out who knows what they're doing and who doesn't. And I like making some of them cry. Yeah. When digital animation came around, was animation overrun by a bunch of tweener animators that had no competition to the people doing keyframes, in-betweens, and fully rendered backgrounds? I feel there's a sentiment to push the idea of having this text sued into oblivion and have it locked down by big corpos themselves, who will make it so they're the only ones that are able to afford the licensing to use it, if they don't just outright buy it up, which I think is probably what's going to happen. There's already pushes from the copyright, I forgot the name of the organization, but already there's pushes saying that if your algorithm scrapes copyrighted work, it's in violation of the law. So what I think is going to happen is that they're just going to buy up this technology and just use it for their spam bots. And that's going to be it. They're going to use it to make their own shit and inundate us with further advertising. And that's going to be how it's going to play out. Yeah, there are a lot of limitations to this technology, and it shows the more you use it. I doubt at this current state you could really... You can rely entirely on prompts and AI generators to make anything like that's worthy of a screen. There's nothing short of breaking my hands in order to stop me from creating things. Yeah, like if anything, it invigorated me the more I learned about it. Like, oh man, this is promising. Has the exact opposite of what this article indicates. Like, it's not gonna make someone quit. If it makes someone quit, then they weren't really passionate to begin with about it. Like, there's no fucking fear of this. Of replacing actual jobs. Just like when cameras started showing up on phones, a bunch of companies try to get rid of their professional photographers thinking that, oh yeah, anyone can take a picture. But it turns out you actually have to have a professional do it still. Because they know things like rule of thirds, depth of field, being creative with things like bokeh or, you know, whatever. Not just applying a filter, but knowing how to refine that filter. Yeah, it won't take every picture in portrait. They know how to turn the camera from portrait to landscape. Unlike Gen Z, who just can't figure out that the phone goes this way in order to make a picture that you can actually see everything on, not this way where it's cancer mode and you can't see shit. What was that? Yes. They're too curiously looking at everything now. Oh yeah, Joshua in the Promised Land. Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah. Hey, yeah, that's the other thing too. Like when people start trying to use this AI shit to make movies and stuff, we'll have a lot of shit to laugh at. Like look at 3D technology. Like 3D was definitely something that made animation a little more convenient for some people, right? Because you could just put a bunch of shapes together and boom, you have your character, you have your figure. You didn't have to keep redrawing it on every single frame. You just move your arms around, make some keyframe moments, and the computer will do all the in-betweening for you. And, you know, here's the results of it right here. Joshua in the Promised Land. Look. So yeah, that's one positive we can look at right here. We're gonna get movies like this from someone, some upstart, some arrogant upstart company is gonna make something that's like this, but with AI generated images now, you know. And maybe it'll even turn a profit because they had so few people working on it. Oh yeah, we even saw when we were watching Corridor Crew's video. There was even a frame where like his hand was just like a monster claw. It's like, whoa, they could have went over that one a little bit better, but you know, just demonstrates the limitation of it. Oh, hello. Yeah, Joshua in the Promised Land is a good example. I just have the door open to air it out a little bit. It's hot in here. Oh yeah, I could open a window. My AI brain is already breaking. Block the sun on that side. All right. Yeah, let's check some of this out. Let's see some animation. Let's see what 3D animation brought us, huh?
Mind fetching a quail so we can eat?
What do you say?
Would you mind fetching a quail so we can eat?
A quail, okay.
No problem, Your Eminence.
You can call me Moses, Joshua.
Yes, sir, Moses.
Look at him go! Woo!
Joshua, I want you to pitch your tent next to
Man,
mine.
this 3D animation is just a bastardization of animation in general, isn't it? But that wasn't the only article that was written. See, just to give you a hint of what I'm going into next. This next article is even better, I think. Corridor Crew's AI-generated anime isn't just callous and craven. It's also dangerous. Doot-doot-doot, Darkwing Duck. We're gonna get let's get dangerous, yeah. Alright. Alright, he makes a good point. See, he makes a good point against himself here in the first paragraph of this article. In 1859, French art critic Charles Baudelaire wrote an essay bemoaning the latest disruption to the art world, the camera. He believed that the camera would make painters lazy and other artists too reliant on the camera to do all the work for them. I'm convinced that the ill-applied developments of photography, like all other purely material developments of progress, have contributed much to the impoverishment of the French artistic genius. Baudelaire wrote, "The camera," he said, "has become art's most mortal enemy, and that the confusion of their several functions prevents any of them from being properly fulfilled." Hi, Tucker. I'm just gonna close the door now. So there have been some instances. Let's see what we got here. Blah blah blah. So he goes over the same thing here. Okay. In the former video, co-director Nico Puriner proposes that animation is the least democratized form of art because studios like Disney are impenetrable to common people. And they are. They completely are. The chances of you getting a job there for the first place is pretty high. It's pretty low, I mean. And if you even get in there, there's a whole collection of artists that are independent on YouTube making their own living on here that used to work for places like Disney, EA, and they never want to go back to those places. They don't necessarily regret working there, but at the same time, they were kind of driven away by the environment they were in. Perriner and his team believe AI is the greatest equalizer because anyone can use it to come up with something, emphasis on something. Corridor is a firm believer in AI and seemed determined to be its missionary. A lack of modesty isn't the problem here, if only because that's Corridor Digital's brand. For the unacquainted, Corridor is a popular digital studio on YouTube, yeah, that enthusiastically dives into the bleeding edge of filmmaking technology. They've made the blaster fire of stormtroopers pinpoint accurate and inserted the late Adam West into last year's The Batman. Their experiments are typically compelling, sometimes funny, and often mesmerizing. So Corridor's own amazement at their creation is just the default setting of guys who mess around on their computers. Yeah, that's what they do. They just mess around on their computers and get stoked about it. It's not inherently unreasonable that they'd feel the same way about anime, rock, paper, and crossblades. But while the video is intriguing, it's ultimately bland gunk. So would you say that about everything else that they make now? Would you say that everything else they make is bland gunk for the most part? The root of the problem isn't just its artistic shortcomings, although its gaudy visuals, unmotivated composition, and comically melodramatic dialogue that comes across more as a mockery of anime than a loving tribute to the medium doesn't help. Yes, there's nothing to mock about anime. I mean, there's a lot of elements of anime that people find irritating and make it unwatchable for them. The way that a lot of women in the anime act, really over the top and oh senpai, whatever. I can't do Japanese. I ain't gonna try. Oh god. Okay, where we go? Like you can't mock anime all of a sudden too. Why is this person getting butthurt over the mocking anime? There's so much. Even recently, whenever there's a trend in anime, it just does not stop until it's completely dead. Not even just like a beaten horse, but more like a horse that's beaten into a bloody little pulp. To the point it's sunk into the ground and it's not. You can't even see it. You can't even see it anymore. It's fertilizer. Of such a good example would be an anime called Overlord. It's about a guy who plays an MMORPG and gets sucked into the world and becomes the main villain. Well, that's the premise of a dozen other animes apparently, where people die and get sucked into some massively multiplayer type of RPG where there's leveling systems and stats and menus. And apparently, because one anime did it, 50 more animes have to come out doing the exact same thing. I think the only reason why we don't see a bunch of Attack on Titan clones in terms of like concepts is mainly because it's I don't know, you can only have so many animes with giant monsters in it, I guess. Well, you know, Godzilla, that's one. The real issue is how their AI tool works. As broken down by Vox last year, AI art aggregates existing images from across the internet. So do artists. They're just much slower about it. All used without the artist's consent. Yeah, that's what artists do all the time. You know what I use to draw figures into the right proportions? I use pictures of myself, other people, and mainly other people I find on the internet too that are modeling, because I don't have the ability to pay a model $100 an hour to stand in front of my green screen and take pictures, all right? I don't have that kind of money on hand to just spend $100 an hour. It's probably more now at this point. It was $100 an hour when I was in college in 2006. I'm fairly certain it probably increased in value. It sounds fancy, and let's see what else we got here. Bland gunk. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here's the other point too. The average normie doesn't give a flying fuck how something is made, as long as it's entertaining. This person said a few paragraphs ago that their work is often funny and mesmerizing. That's all that people are going to care about. If it looks like shit, they're going to say it looks like shit and not watch it. You can't just tell them it's bland gunk and expect that to resonate with people and on the same level. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Next point here. Yeah, as art evolves, there will always be questions about the ethics and integrity of its production, like photography. AI could one day find its place in the artist's toolbox, but for now, it doesn't matter how high and mighty promoters sound when they talk about democratizing art. AI's ability to create a few keystrokes. AI's ability to create at a few keystrokes. Was this a few keystrokes? Was this just a few keystrokes right here? Are we looking at just a few keystrokes? Are we not looking at a bunch of, you know, keying out the green screen, costuming, acting, using filters to fix some of the artifacting and effects? We're not looking at that. Just a few keystrokes, huh? Again, Joshua... I already forgot the name of it. Joshua in the Promised Land. There we go. Why would you learn how to animate when you could just use, you know, just go into 3D, click on a couple of, you know, spheres and cubes, and you got your characters. Just move them around a bit, you know, and oh, look at that, money. That's how it goes, right? All right. Let's see, where was it here? All right. AI's ability to create at a few keystrokes would grind to a halt the moment the artist it's stealing from put their pens down. So far, it's only democratizing mass theft. Okay. And once again, I'm probably just going to read this. I want to be creating artwork and videos until I am too physically crippled to do so. It doesn't matter to me what someone can produce on the fly with some keystrokes. We already have that right now. How many fucking movies follow the same key story points like the last 20 years of Marvel films, racking billions of dollars, while independent filmmakers struggle to get funding? There are careers being made from people complaining about how movies suck these days, but at the same time, they don't put in effort and use their platform of millions, often, to promote interesting alternatives. Where were these people when The Northman came out? The Lighthouse, Cocaine Bear, Unicorn Wars, Bird Boy. There's a whole collection of films out there, if you actually go looking for them, that you can find. How much money did the movie Parasite make in theaters compared to the latest Marvel film? Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of coping bullshit. Some algorithm skimming images for me is not what's discouraging. Yeah, I'll tell you what's discouraging. All right, when I went to college and the prospect was to refine my skills in design and art to make advertising pamphlets and car concepts, which is not even a job anymore. A lot of these, supposedly, according to some professional artists, like the whole job of drawing car concepts and product concepts has kind of gone out the window. For the most part. Like that shit's just going away. long before this AI shit came out. Not to mention that a lot of animation here in the States is all pigeonholed into adult comedy, like American Dad, Family Guy, F is for Family. Not that they're all bad. F is for Family, BoJack Horseman. It's either that or it's strictly some children's entertainment. Imagine putting all that work and effort into learning 3D animation only to work on Paw Patrol for the next 20 years or something, you know? I've seen that show. It's repetitive as hell. I can only imagine the constraints that the 3D animation team is on, too, to get that show cranked out every week. I feel like we need more stop motion. Give me stuff like Fantastic Mr. Fox and I'll be set for life. Or how about one that came out recently? There we go. Pinocchio, Guillermo del Toro. Right there. Stop motion. Still alive and well. Wow. I thought AI was supposed to replace all this. See, this movie is really fucking good, by the way. I wish, if I had the time, I wanted to make more commentary about it, but yeah. This is amazing. Like, I would rank this up there with, like, Land Before Time, American Tail, Lion King. Just something right here is something that a kid could definitely watch and grow up with and have a fond memory of right here. Unlike what Disney did. Yeah, it was. I'm still stunned how good it was, and more importantly, Guillermo del Toro didn't just retell the same Pinocchio story, right? He didn't just go one for one. We're just going to tell it like it is. He took the concept, he took the framework of the premise, and he made it his own. He made it more about parenting and father, and being a father, and well, like the cricket says in the movie, a story about imperfect sons and a story about imperfect fathers. It's amazing. No, I like trying to not tear up thinking about it right now. Can't wipe my tears. Yeah, I lived it too, Flint. All right, gotta get it. Can't let that. Yeah, get back in there. Get back in there. Oh no, no. Okay. Don't want to make my makeup run. I mean, I don't want to make my face run. There we go. But here's the other thing that's discouraging for a lot of artists, to me at least. Not only just being strictly pigeonholed into shitty adult comedy and children's entertainment, but like the chances now of creating your own project, where there's this barrier of extremely expensive schools and very few major studios to give you jobs. Think about it. Disney and Fox, like what did Disney do when they bought Fox? They closed down Blue Sky Animation. So boom, right there. There's another big animation studio just gone. Not to mention the abuse of effects artists. People who put their lives and dedicate their work into making effects for movies are treated like shit. There's a great short documentary that's for free on YouTube, so you have no excuse not to watch it. I'll keep boasting this because there's nothing else about it really. Yeah, Life After Pi. It's a great mini documentary, and
I don't think the studios want visual effects companies to go out of business because they have a lot of work that needs to be done, and they want us to be healthy. However, they, like any other person that has a job, they're given a budget, they're given a movie, and that you have to do this work for this amount of money.
Remember, this is a fixed bid. You absolutely cannot charge us more than the fixed bid.
You said there were some changes to the boards.
Yeah, so what ends up happening a lot of times too, the studios will give the effects company a fixed bid, a fixed price on doing this work, but they're going to they later want changes to the work. Well, they already paid for it, so they can't be charged any more for it. So now the studio has to pay out of their own pocket to make the changes, and that's how you get a lot of studios going out of business, to give you the gist of it. On top of the fact that a lot of these studios, well, right here, this is perfect. All right.
Project. They want to take over to say Vancouver.
Shush. There.
The Canadian company will bid it at $2 million, but the studio gets, say, $3 million back as a tax rebate. So the only way you even get considered for that film is to bid it at $7 million. And so we're now getting less money for the same amount of work.
And so the motion picture studios told the visual effects facilities that if you want to get this work, you have to do it in Vancouver, where you're spending $1 million, $1.5 million building a facility there.
And of course what happens is another country or region, state says, oh, well, that's a good idea. We'll do that. We'll take our money and we'll take it from our taxpayers.
Stop locking up.
And we'll give that to the movie studios. And then, of course, all those people now go to this other place because what the...
Yeah, so it becomes a bidding war. And there's a lot of people they cover here that can't even, like, own a house. This guy... Let's see if I can get the clip where he's talking about his life here. Let's see. Is it near the end? Nope. Yep, here it is, right here.
Some of my comrades had started a Facebook page called the Pixel Gypsy. You know, and it's not that I've never been good enough to land somewhere for the duration, it's that there never is a duration. I've been on the staff.
Stop motion with that childlike feel to it will always top AI, and the fact that it's a family movie that gets the entire family instead of playing into one age group is great. Yes. Yeah, I mean, there's so many good things you could say about the Pinocchio movie. Exactly. That's just a prime example. You know, and it's not to say that, you know, obviously there's a lot of fantastic works going out there. I'll give you some trailers here since you obviously have good taste, Flint Flakes. I can give you some ideas of things to watch in just a minute here. But this is I think this is a good point here too, just how effects studios are treated. So this is like another thing that can discourage artists from working, right? As opposed to fucking AI work. Like, not even for a moment did I think like, oh, well, I guess the AI is going to do everything for us now. I'm not even in the professional field, and with good reason, as you'll see here.
5 visual effects shops that were really well known.
All right.
Owned the duration. I've been on the staff of 5 visual effects shops that were really well known, did amazing work, that all went bankrupt, most of them owing the artist money. You know, you're constantly on the go, chasing which government's going to give the greatest handout back to the studios. I've taken to just living in hotels the past few years, find it's a lot simpler. I got suitcases that were designed to fit in the trunk of my car, and it all layers in there. Yay, VFX. I got a king-size bed, I got a jacuzzi in my room. I have those little soaps that make me feel like I'm on vacation every day, and I love using those little soaps. I love the way they feel when you open them up. Rhythm and Hughes was like a new girl in my life. I fell in love again, you know what I mean? Then at a Friday meeting, I had my heart broken, just like I have a million times. And now I'm just this kind of strung out, gray-haired old bachelor.
People want to have lives and families and houses, and just like anybody else. They're not trying to live rich. They're just trying to live their lives. And you can't do that when you have to live in a different city every 6 months because you're...
Yeah, so imagine having to move all over the fucking country and outside the country in some cases, it seems here, every half a year. Like, goddamn. This is the best taste, yeah. So, yeah, how like... What if an artist sees this shit? Like, this is the shit that artists have to go through. They're gonna be like, fuck it. Why would I try to get into one of these studios? That's what I'm saying, like how AI could possibly open things up for a lot of people in small teams. Instead of having to spend 3 to 5 years to get a short film made and hopefully get into some festivals and get picked up by a bigger studio. Likely they'll only pick up maybe like 1 or 2 of you too, and you'll have to leave your friends behind. You know, that's how I imagine how it generally would work out. How about Japan in itself and how they eat artists and shit out manga and anime all the time? It's ridiculous. So, yeah, spending. I've had teachers in my college who were like $200,000 in student debt, teaching design and having to get jobs to pay off their student debt. You know, not only are you spending a bunch of student loans to learn something like this, the consolidation of all these corporations that control all the entertainment is just getting smaller and smaller. Yeah, yeah, exactly. AI is fine and all, but there's always people who want the specific feelings that just can't replicate. Yeah, I'm not saying you could just like run the AI algorithm and make a movie out of it. We're not there yet. I'll probably be the people have used it, like length amount of time. It's way off. Like, I don't know if you've seen this terrifying thing. I'll show you this before we get into some trailers here. With eating spaghetti. So someone took some AI and made, yeah, Will Smith eating spaghetti. First of all, it looks like it's shot in a potato. I better make sure this ain't copywritten. I can't mute it. Oh, there it is. There's the mute. Yeah, it looks very unsettling. It's neat. The what it is, but you can never, like, outside of like a comedy, obviously, or absurdist comedy, you can never really watch like a movie like this. You can never watch like a serious dramatized movie like this. So I would like to see someone attempt it. And like, yeah, how long too before like a celebrity or something sues Midjourney or Stable Diffusion, saying like, "Oh, I used my image without permission. It needs to pay me millions of dollars." There's a whole issue with deep fakes being made of porn of people that didn't consent to it, and it's like, whatever. If someone wants to use my face to do a deep fake porn, you can just pay me $1,000 per video. That's my stipulation. All right, you can make any video you want with my face in that manner. You got to pay me $1,000 per video if you're gonna make money off of it, at least. If you plan on it. If you plan on making some revenue off it, if you plan on just making something fun, whether it's porn or something goofy, I don't care. But if you're like monetizing it, that's when I want to cut. All right, that's all that matters to me. I even tease this whole idea of art theft too is just like fucking shit to me. Outside of plagiarism, of course, you can't just straight up trace an image. But I even tease because I saw the opposite of this on one person's art page, right? So I'm like, fuck that. So I typed this out. Please do, I do mean do, repost, trace, and recolor any of my art. Just link it back to this page or my YouTube channels. Give me the credit. Even if you just recreate it. As long as you're giving me credit and not trying to monetize outright plagiarism, why should I give a fuck? Someone takes an image of my character and puts it on like their Facebook profile, who cares? As long as they're not saying they made it themselves and trying to get something out of it. Like, why should I give a stink about it? I don't get that. I never got that. There's like a whole crew of people that will just make beware pages of artists. Like when I started doing art in the elementary school, I recreated stuff from magazines. I went through GamePro magazines and recreated the character art that I was seeing in there as a start. Because I had no training, I had no classes. Not until later. It's like, who cares? And yeah. Oh yeah, those President Voice things are hilarious. But that gets me into the whole point of this. It's also terrifying. Let me just bring up my notes here. So in the Discord, we had the conversation that this is probably going to lead up into, you know, basically corpos using it to circumvent CAPTCHA and spread their spam all over the place, once again. They're probably going to, I think they're going to lock it down. I think it's going to be locked down in terms of some corporation buying out the technology and locking it away, gatekeeping it, like Midjourney. They're gonna have the best AI technology, and if there's some legislation or law that gets passed trying to supposedly protect artists, from theft. It's going to make it so that if your AI generation software, algorithm, whatever, if it scrapes anything that's copywritten at all, period, it's illegal. Needs to be a cease and desist, and you can no longer use it. So even if there's like a challenge to whatever existing AI prompts are out there, it's going to be snuffed out through legislation. That's what I think could happen with it. That's one thing. We also talked about how it's probably going to be used to, a bunch of corporations are going to be sold on this technology. Thing is going to replace or make things easier, and it's going to cause them to lose a bunch of money, which I don't have any problem with corporations losing money. I don't think anyone else does. Exactly. You have my old art as your profile pic. Burn it. Burn that old art and run. Yeah. Like when I'm done with an art piece, I'm just like, okay, I'm done. Next thing. Next thing. I don't even like. I have very little feeling to ever go back and refine something I did. Maybe as like an amusement for myself. Like, okay, this is how I drew this one thing when I was 15. Let's see how I can draw it now in comparison. The other thing though. So those president things of like Donald Trump and Biden playing Minecraft are hilarious. It's also kind of terrifying in the sense that like what can this be done? What can this be used for in terms of like political and corporate espionage? Will it get to that level? Maybe. I think it's only a matter of time before we have some kind of like scandal involving a public figure, or more than likely people who are not public figures. It's one thing for like a big YouTuber to have his image taken and put into like a compromising situation because they'll have an audience to suss that shit out to know that it's fake. But some average Joe being used to create a compromising image of like them using a cucumber out in a public park or something on themselves, what's their defense going to be against that? No, that's a lie. That's not me. That's totally not me, guys. Why would you believe that's me? That's not me. That's not me. I didn't do it. We have that problem now before there was AI. A couple years ago, there was a mass shooting, and 4chan users directed a huge slew of people against a couple of trans people, saying that they were the ones that committed the shooting. So all of a sudden, these two trans people on Instagram got a flood of messages of threats all over the place. And they had to come out and say, like, no, we did not commit this mass shooting. I'm also still alive, unlike the shooter. And that was without the help of AI. What's going to happen with AI when they take, like, a mass shooting of footage and, like, deep fake someone's face on there and be like, they did it. That person did it. Here he is. Go after him. He's out there. He's the real one that did it. This is just this is a fake news. This is a psyop. I saw someone with my old artist, their profile pic, and I almost had a heart attack. See, that's just something that, you know, I think you just gotta look past. Now, if they're like claiming to be you, claiming that they made it themselves, that's a whole other issue. Especially if they're like making a T-shirt or a hat using your own artwork or using something to promote an event, even if a non-profit event, because you deserve a little more than just credit there, right? Like if there's like some public event going on and all of a sudden you're seeing your artwork everywhere on it, it's like, what the fuck is this? You know, that's when you call in a copyright lawyer and be like, hey, we need to settle something on this right now because there's going to be problems. If someone's like, I don't know, using their character to roleplay on some forum, why would I waste my time with that shit? It's likely some teenager doing it anyways. What are they going to do? Pay me millions of dollars for it? Seeing some AI voices of Marvel actors being used for point of view TikTok. See, that'll probably go on the wayside. It'll probably be made illegal to use like a celebrity's voice or some shit. I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. It's going to be legislated away. So enjoy the fun as much as you can, but eventually it'll probably go away. So let me just bring this over here so I can look at my notes. So to me, these are the things that we should be afraid of, as far as like what this AI could be used for. Elon Musk So, like, yeah, like the type of propaganda that could be created with AI, and at the speed it could be created too. So we have Don Howard Wilkes and Ferris Cohen Wilkes. These are fracking oil company founders who fund things like PragerU and the Daily Wire. Propaganda machines that just spew out right-wing talking points. Not because they have any actual arguments or that they're true. They just do that to create a distraction for us. We're always distracted over social issues while the Republicans and the Democrats run away with the Treasury. There's a great documentary that I encourage you to rent and buy called Gasland. Gasland Part 1 and Part 2 are still relevant today because it's still happening right now. So one part of this documentary, and keep in mind, look at this is already 9 years ago. It's still relevant. It's still happening. There's still companies creating these fracking oil drills that are destroying the groundwater for all these small towns and probably our own water in general. That leads into another thing. So we'll go into Gasland here. So Gasland Part 2 has a part where they go over a corporate meeting. So these corporations are having a meeting and they're implementing a military psyop tactic. It's publicly known. This isn't like a conspiracy. This isn't any secret. This psyop is about inundating the public with bullshit. Just complete bunk. Spreading lies confidently that will lead to the general populace believing it, because a normie who has like kids, pets, a family, they don't have time to suss out all this shit out. They don't have time to look into every little claim being made to determine whether or not it's false or true. And so, this slows down the opposition to them, if not halts it altogether, because now the opposition to them needs to spend time presenting the evidence, if they can even find any evidence, to debunk them, debunk their lies, as if there is even evidence to begin with, as I said, yes. So, like, there'll be claims, for instance, in this documentary that the fracking is safe. It makes the water better, even. Just outright lies. There's no proof of it, really. They'll maybe have some, like, graphical presentation for it. But now, if you're in the opposition, you gotta spend and waste your time debunking this shit while they continue to do continue their operations. A great example of this, actually, is the lie of kitty litter boxes being put in the classrooms. There was a lie being spread around claiming that there was a bunch of students identifying as cats, and the school is having to put litter boxes in the classroom so that these students can relieve themselves in the middle of the classroom. Now, we live in an age of camera phones being everywhere. If that was actually fucking happening, we'd be seeing it all over the place. Like, oh my god, look at this girl in my school. She's using a litter box right here, everybody. I gotta give you this clip here, though. This. Do you have the fact someone used AI to replicate someone's art style to the point where they could create new pieces with them in there? Oh, not on hand, but yes, that is another true thing too. Yeah. It sounded accurate. They could even make the voice stutter realistically. Exactly. Yeah, it's only a matter of time before it gets precise enough that you can't even tell the difference. It's already like that for some people. But yeah, it's using it to mimic artist style. Like they actually have, now you mention that, there's a Netflix documentary about Bob Ross. Now there's the Bob Ross company. After Bob Ross died, the Bob Ross company took his name, cut his son out of any deals. That his son does not make a dime off of any of Bob Ross's products. They not only took his name, but they have would-be artists recreate his work, sign his name on it, even signing Bob Ross's name, saying this is a Bob Ross piece, even though these are students recreating his work. Well, now that the AI can do it, I'm pretty sure all those artists and some of these art schools are probably going to just get closed down. Unless, of course, they're still making money off of it, because they have a bunch of students paying a lot of money to learn how to paint like Bob Ross, but there's a lot of contracts that they have to sign saying that any piece of work they create while learning the Bob Ross class, any piece of work is not their own. It belongs to the Bob Ross company. Any piece of work that they create is owned by them. So, like, I don't know. If enough people quit there, or maybe they'll limit the class sizes even more. I can imagine them doing that. That'll probably be something that happens if they can use the algorithm to recreate. It's not even really an AI, because the AI is not thinking. It's just a compiler, really. That's all it is. It just compiles images together, pulling from a bunch of sources. So yeah, that's another aspect of how corporations will just fuck us over with it.
We knew that this...
Let's see, where's the... I want to hear this guy. Right here.
Wife and I first got married, we were poor and we lived in a house that wasn't insulated, and so we had a gas heater on the end. Based on all of this was Exodus 23, 25, and that verse says that you shall serve, correct? And
oh, he's a martyr. He's going to say it.
Oh, here we go.
It's not just some people have a different take on things. It is literally doctrines of the
It's whipped into a blood frenzy over it.
Doctrine of demons. It is demonic. And the people who are doing it
just the
are
first
being
part?
influenced. The seed in
Nope,
your heart,
not that
and the
one.
Word of God will be alive. Flu season. Take all sickness away from the midst of thee. And I looked up those words in the Hebrew, and the word take and away.
By this point in time. Now listen to what he had to say mid-July 2020.
Did you know if you get tested for the COVID-19
of people,
then you test positive? If you've had a
Come
cold,
on, where is it?
you test positive.
Where is it? I want to hear him say it.
Again, false.
Inflates the numbers. Is a COVID virus.
Damn it. I wish he time mark his shit. I wasn't thinking I had to bring this up. Oh,
agenda that's being pushed. I don't even.
I give up. Anyways, this guy says that there's a teacher who identifies as a cat who teaches this class, and he has a litter box in the back of the classroom that he goes to and relieves himself in front of everybody. If there was a teacher doing that in any school, that video, because there would inevitably be a video of it. There's no way some kid would not be able to take a picture of that. There'd be no way they could not take a picture of that and spread it around the entire country. But there's a whole slew of people, of official, actual politicians that were claiming that there were kids identifying as cats. This is anti-trans rhetoric, if you haven't picked that up yet. Identifying as cats and demanding litter boxes and accommodations for their schools. Obviously, that shit's completely made up, but that's not the point. The point is not even convince people of anything. It's just to keep people distracted, to keep the opposition distracted and focused on that shit, so that they can push their bills and bigoted laws and things of that nature. So, yeah, they'll make up a lie just to keep the opposition busy. So now imagine this paired up with AI, generating propaganda, generating fake videos, fake images, like the one where Trump arrested, where Trump gets arrested, for instance. Yeah, there he is. See, yeah, here he is, getting manhandled by cops, getting tackled. Here he is running away. Like it was an army of police chasing him out in the streets. As if this man could fucking run. It's impossible. But yeah, we're only a few steps away, right? Of just like, it's been teased in a lot of movies too, and TV shows, like all throughout the decades, of this concept of making fake photos, framing people, framing politicians, framing officials, making them look like they did something that they didn't. It's only a matter of time. We're gonna have like a whole other branch of career where it's their job or people's job just to figure out if an image is actually real or fake. So I think that's the ultimate, like, doomsday scenario thing to look forward to when it comes to this technology. Let's see, that's about it. I think that covers everything I had about this. Wind Squirrel, hey. It'll come down to AI versus AI. Like, can your algorithm algorithm my algorithm? I think we also got to get away from calling it AI, because it's not thinking for itself. It's not an artificial intelligence in that sense. It's just a prompt. It's an algorithm. It's a automated service system. It pulls a bunch of random images, it puts it together, and you get the result. You know, Bing has one. Bing has an AI generator. Doesn't let you type in any person's name that I want to type in. I want to type in Bill Gates. Nope. I want to type in Mark Zuckerberg. Nope. Oh, I could show you some of the AI things I made. Now the thing is too, like the people using these prompts, I'll say they're making art. I use the same rule as Scott McCloud does when it comes to art. Anything you do that is not related to reproduction or survival is art. Now, would I call these people artists? No, obviously not. They're making images, but they certainly aren't artists. And, you know, time will definitely tell and reveal the limitations of this technology, if it hasn't already. Just like with 3D animation, just like with digital art. Yeah, let's see, where is it here? Yeah, here we go. Alright. So, this is me typing in a baby made out of raw meat, standing in a parade. Baby made out of raw meat. Baby made out of raw meat. This one, I wanted it standing in traffic, so this is what it came up with. Same thing here. So this one I typed in, well, it's really here. Animal bursting out of a child's chest. This is from Midjourney. Like in the movie Aliens. I was trying to get something like that. Like, I wanted something gruesome. Came close. Kinda. Dog made out of dental floss. So something simple. Dog made out of dental floss. That looks pretty much what I expected dog made out of dental floss to look like. As these are the ones before. These are the ones that came up with. And you're able to like pick one to refine it even further. A weasel violently bursting out of a chest cavity. I didn't even put child on here. For some reason, to put child with a balloon. Adler the eagle. None of these things know what Adler the eagle looks like. See, I type in Adler the eagle in Google image search, and I get Adler the eagle right here. Come on, get over here. Yeah, there he is right there. Not even close. Not even close. Akira in the style of Cuphead. Indiana Jones as a rabbit. You got this weird one right here with his arm. This is cute, right? See, this looks like something people could have made. This could have been like someone's first Photoshop project, right? Taking an image of a bunny, putting a little hat on it, cutting it out. You know, this prompt did a simple Photoshop job in a matter of seconds. Is there any professional artist that like does things like this, that has like a job, maybe like storyboard, maybe, you know, something along those lines? But, you know, again, this is also a simple prompt. Indiana Jones as a rabbit is pretty simple for it to do. Lilo and Stitch is a grindhouse film. I don't know what it is with the words. It never makes like words. It just puts letters in random places. For some reason, Lilo's a Stitch alien, and Stitch is half human. In that one corner, okay. Majira Strawberry. Again, not sure what that. It got the strawberry part. Oh, Majira Strawberry in the style of H.R. Giger. That's what I typed in. I did a few new ones here that aren't in the video. But yeah, once again, I think if you want a good image of Majira Strawberry, your best bet is to Google Images. Yeah, there he is. I never watched any of his videos, so don't tell me. I have no idea what they're like. He's like one of the most popular furry YouTubers. Go figure, right? Mark Zuckerberg is a human. So Midjourney allows you to type in celebrities' names. Mark Zuckerberg stealing your grandma's identity. I wish I ran out of credits, so I couldn't get this image on the right here refined, because this one just looks fantastic. It looks so ominous, like he's about to steal grandma's soul. Beta character AI before? No, I have not. I tried to type in Muhammad, but they block you from using Muhammad. Go figure. So I typed in Muslim fighting Care Bears at Washington, D.C. during something. Richard Nixon in a mech suit stomping communism. Tetris the movie, which I would give this one props. This one actually looks like almost like a poster you'd see for Tetris the movie. Cyberpunk Care Bears. So it won't so obviously it doesn't recreate like the actual Care Bear images. So I'm guessing that was blocked from like using those images. I imagine from Hasbro. I'm sure Hasbro already gave them their cease and desist. Courage the Cowardly Dog, ultra realistic. It actually almost looks like some of the 3D animation you'd see on that show too. So I had that refined a little bit more. It still has a problem with teeth. So yeah, it's one of those things too. It's obvious. You could pass it off as like something you made from scratch, but really, why would you? Because it's only a matter of time before someone asks you to do something that you wouldn't be able to do. A lot of times too, people who've used this extensively can tell you that you have to refine the prompt more over and over and over again. Change a little word here, change a little word there, to the point where you're taking almost as much time to create an image through the AI as it would to just create it yourself, if you knew how to draw at least. Vladimir Putin being punched by Howard Duck. Again, it has a huge problem with mouths and its placement. What the hell's this? Up here on the right. That is a weird looking honker. And this is from the Bing creator. H.R. Giger fursuit. Again, H.R. Giger. Now this looks pretty fucking badass, if you ask me. Like, this looks like something you could, like, recreate on your own afterwards, you know? Like, hey, now this is a concept here. This looks fucking amazing. Like, I would love to see someone make something like this if they haven't already. Hellraiser at a birthday party. Obviously looks nothing like Hellraiser. Lemur fursuit in the style of H.R. Giger. That looks ominous. That looks amazing. See, this I could probably you could probably pass this off as someone's creation. It's not gonna put anyone else out of the job. You know, lemur fursuit. I like the H.R. Giger. So, you know, lemur fursuit, H.R. Giger. Same thing here. Same rat, H.R. Giger. Just H.R. Giger. Snake, H.R. Giger. Snake fursuit. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. It's addicting. I admit that. I mean, the results are immediate. You know, it looks kind of cool. And this looks amazing. But again, is it going to stop me from drawing? Is it going to stop me from being creative? Why? Why would it? Why would it for anyone? There's a lot of limits. It can get random stuff, but it can't give exactly what you want. Exactly. Yeah, I could type in here all day something I want, and eventually what's going to happen is Bing is going to be like, I'm sorry, but that prompt is offensive too much. That's unethical. Same thing with ChatGPT. Like, you try to type, you try to tell it to give you, like, a good essay against a politician, it'll be like, no, that's unethical. You know, it's already been neutered. It can maybe give you, like, the building blocks of something, but you're still gonna have to refine it, you know? I do say it could give me some inspiration. Like, the way this looks and everything, you know? But by itself, yeah, I'd never be using this by itself. Like, hey, that's a good starting block right here for a character concept, you know? See what I come up with on my own drawing it. But I can imagine it would also help with, like, references, as opposed to paying a model more, you know? Except that it can't get hands right. It has a real hard time with hands. So yeah, that kind of covers everything I wanted to go over on this. Let's see, someone sent me this video in the Discord. Alan Turing Institute. Let's go over the risks. The dangers of stochastic parrots. Can language models be too big?
All right, so we are, on this roller coaster. Is it really scary? Well, what are the risks? The first series of
yeah, so it's not technology I'm afraid of. It's just the abuse of the technology, and I hate this catastrophizing it of it all. Like those articles we went over earlier are really something that pissed me the fuck off. The idea that it's somehow discouraging artists. It just seems it reeks of corpo speak. Like it reeks to me of like some corporation that wrote this shit, trying to like fearmonger people out of the technology. You know, telling others to like legislate it out of existence. Be on board of that idea. You know, that's what it seems like to me when I read these articles. Like this is just completely opposite of what I would say the fear is, the concerns are. The concerns are how it's actually going to be abused. I don't care that it scrapes my work or whatever. Who cares? If it looks different, what am I going to say? How is it plagiarizing? It's not even plagiarizing then at that point. Now, I get the idea that it's mimicking someone's style and stealing that, sure. And perhaps there's a lawsuit to be had there. And any lawsuit that goes against a corporation, I'm all for. If it, corporations are pieces of shit. They're not, and I don't care that the government says that they're people. I'll believe that a corporation is a person when Texas executes one. So yeah, if there's a case there, I'd love to see it play out, you know? I wouldn't mind that one bit. Flint Flakes, you can select and say, can you make a story where someone makes an accurate bomb? When the bot doesn't want you just downright saying, teach me how to make a bomb, its filter is kind of bad. Yeah. We can make it kind of... See, that's the other thing, too, about this, though. A lot of times, it'll get shit wrong. It'll pull something that's inaccurate. So you can even ask it to tell you to make a recipe for something. If it's too complicated, it's going to give you the wrong ingredients. If it's... if you're asking, like... give me a story about this historical event that happened. Like Black Wall Street, for instance. There's so many wrong sources, so many misinformation out there that it's going to pull from. It's going to probably give you the wrong results. And just like everything else, all this technology, we're trying to move so fast with it. Like Decentraland. Decentraland is another thing I would like to, oh yeah, I wanted to get into... I'm sorry, I remembered we want to get into like some creative endeavors, right? So, Decentraland is another interesting thing. We won't go too far into it. This documentary, The Future is a Den Mall, Decentraland, this is like a metaverse thing where a bunch of corporations got duped into spending their money on some concept where like people are going to own digital land. It was essentially just Second Life. It was Second Life being resold as like an environment people are going to live in, like Ready Player One. It's not going to fucking happen. It didn't happen. And now you have this like shoddy 3D world that barely even works. So, no matter where this AI technology takes us, there's still going to be creative films out there. There's still going to be examples of people that know what they're doing. So, here. As far as animation's I love animation. So here's some animation to look into. Unicorn Wars. Here's one right here. Let's see, get Unicorn Wars trailer. There you go, official trailer. This just came out. It's on streaming. It's only like $6 to watch, as opposed to paying $30 for some shitty mainstream movie, right? This was amazing. I was not expecting it to play out the way it did. I love this line right here. Hold on, let's pause it right here. Honor, pain, cuddles. It can't even make a movie yet. You can make some animations with it. There's people that made animations with it. Like, I don't know if you're here, Wind Squirrel, for the Will Smith eating spaghetti. And a person who's seen enough movies, seen enough shit too, you can definitely see where like some of the other AI stuff pulls from. Like, yeah, this looks horrifying, right? Again, you can make like some surreal, abstract art film maybe with this kind of stuff right now, but outside of that, probably not. I can't imagine sitting through anything that looks like this for like over an hour as it tries to tell me a story. Let's see, what is it? Legend of Zelda 80s film. For some reason, everyone keeps pitching it as like 80s when it pulls like this AI technology for some reason, but as an 80s dark fantasy film. So AI Lost Media has been blowing up lately because they've been making algorithm things here. So look, a million teeth, weird smiles. I don't know what he's doing for the prompts, but it's supposed to be like Majora's Mask, right? It definitely has that 80s vibe to it, right? Even everything has to be built set. The sets look like they're all built. It doesn't look like they're actual historical sites. This looks really overly rendered. The images of the faces. I know I'm nitpicking it all of it here to point out the flaws, but at the same time, it looks inspirational to me. Like it looks like, yeah, this sparks my creativity in my mind to come up with my own ideas. Not that this is replacing me. This is going to somehow substitute the creative process. I don't have that vibe at all when I look at this. I think like, yeah, this looks like an awesome concept. I'm going to keep that in mind and make up my own thing, you know? But yeah, here's a great movie, Unicorn Wars. You want to talk about films that aren't being made by algorithms, that aren't feeling artificial? Right here. Not based on any hey, come on, what do you want, Tucker? What do you want? You want to be part of the shot? Come here. There you go. There you go. Yeah. It's scary because this is only the start. Yeah, exactly. And whatever comes with it here. Let's get a good shot of you, Tucker. Okay. And now we're gonna sing. Right? You want to sing? Oh no. Sing. Come here. Come here. Come here, Tucker. Seen it, Tucker. Yeah. Alright, let's see. What else? Well, I'll just tip in G-Kids. Despite the name, they do not make kids films for the most part. They promote Studio Ghibli. We all know Studio Ghibli. See, like, this is one I'm probably going to watch tonight, actually, since I'm done here. Relax. Another Life. This is about a South African, like, photographer during a revolution war that's going on. I don't like to read a synopsis that much. I like to keep things pretty vague when I go watch a movie. Anyways. Let's see, what is it? Let's see. Civil War following Angola's independence from Portugal in 1975. Oh, what's this 3D animation? Why is it? Is this 3D animation going to replace 2D animation? Yeah, remember how 3D animation was supposed to erase all 2D animation? It kind of did, But that was only because all these major studios had such a consolidation of their money and position that they could just, eradicate their animation studios. If we had more media companies out there, I imagine there would have been like such a downturn of 2D animation for the longest time. But no, as it stands right now, there are 6 media companies that control 90% of all entertainment and media that we consume. I don't know what the other 10% are and how small they are in comparison. But, you have Viacom. What is it? Okay, let's just type it in. 6 media companies control everything. I know I'm getting to other avenues here, but I love bringing this up. I don't really love bringing it up. I just think it's important to bring it up. So yeah, television and film, National Amusements. He owns all this shit. Spike, Showcase, Showtime, CW, VH1. You think you have choices? No, you have the illusion of choice. You have the illusion of choice. GameSpot, CBS, CNET. Websites that are in competition with each other. CNET, GameSpot. Let's see. Disney, Bob Iger. ABC, A&E, Marvel, Star Wars, Vice, ESPN, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, FYI. All those other sub-brands. Oh, they also own a bunch of print media. Magic Academy, Hyperion. Of course, Marvel Comics, yeah. Video games, GameStar, Time Warner, CNN, CW, Mad TV, True TV. Well, why is Mad on here? That's not even like, it's not a network. Oh, or Mad Magazine, I guess. Boomerang, Cartoon Network, Hulu, HBO, TBS, Warner Brothers, all these video game companies, all these investment companies. Print, Time Life, TC, Internet, Time Warner Cable, of course. Comcast, all this shit here. They got their stake in Hulu here too. News Corp, Fox News, BTN, whatever. Sony, they own all this shit, etc. And that's you look on this list. There's something that you watch that one of these people own. That's it. That's what you got. The 6 companies that own almost all media. Boom. Yeah, 2D. I imagine anything could be more imaginative. Like especially when you combine the 3D aspects and 2D aspects in the right way. Like there's the longest time where 3D animation looked horrible in combination with 2D. Think of like the 90s Spider-Man show. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Yeah, like just the opening theme, really. It's just like when it could just do simple objects. But yeah, it just looks really awkward when the 2D sprites are over the 3D stuff. They usually use it as like transition effects, or when he's like, doing stuff like that. That's just be crazy for the backgrounds to be moving in that way. Which is a little too dynamic for a Saturday morning cartoon. Oh yeah, you want, just look up GK's. Oh man. Yeah, Redline. Redline is amazing. Holy shit. MFKZ. MFKZ. That's another one too that blew me away. But Redline. Holy shit. You want to talk about great animation. Not just like on the level of Spider-Verse. Redline. It's like Speed Racer on crack. I don't know how else to describe it. Speed Racer on crack. It has so many elements where you just want more of it, but it doesn't overstay its welcome with anything. And there's a dub of it. Yeah, it's a crazy anime. Yeah, those are some creative things for you to look at. MFKZ, that's on Netflix still, I think.
I'm Angelino. Welcome to my f***ed up city. I was born here.
I love the soundtrack in this too. It really fucking slaps.
There's no way you two can run forever.
I'm gonna enjoy putting you.
It's great. Yeah, they did it just for a gimmick back in the day. Yeah. You know, like what starts, like right now the AI stuff is a gimmick, just like the 3D animation stuff back then, you know? Back when it was very limited and very time consuming in terms of rendering. And like it would take days, it would take days to go frame by frame for 3D animation back in the 90s. Now it doesn't take nearly as long. So yeah, overall, it's just another tool. There's no reason to be catastrophizing over it in terms of like entertainment and art. It's just gonna, yeah, it's also gonna be a tool used for propaganda purposes and spamming us with more advertising, if anything. And that'll be it. So I think it covers about everything. Alexander Smith. Yeah. Oh yeah, you love that MFKZ? Yeah, I loved it too. I mean, there's some elements I guess I could complain about, but man, I don't know. The way Western animation is compared to everything what everyone else is doing, fuck man. Every other country does animation better than the West, than America. In terms of creativity. Like, what do we got over here? What do we got over here? We got the Mario movie. Oh boy.
Let's go.
Oh boy, how inspiring. A Super Mario Brothers movie. I'll probably see it. I mean, from what I hear, it's pretty much what you would want to see as a Mario movie back when you were a kid. Like that's the vibe I'm getting from a lot of people who've seen it. I'm not saying it's terrible at all, but like, you know, same thing with like Pixar. I get that they're still making original films like Going Red, Turning Red, for example, but like it's still kind of just animation in general is just focused on little kid stuff. Where's the Watership Down? Where's the Pride of Baghdad? Where is the Unicorn Wars? You know, where's the MFKZ? Where's that coming from? Is that going to come from Pixar at some point? Is that going to come from some animation studio here in the West? In the West, in America, I can't get that out of my mind. The West looked at the time and money ratio and don't think it's worth it. Yeah. Oh yeah, they think it's a no-go when it comes to anything mature. That's the ironic thing about all this, isn't it? We have these corporations like Disney and Fox that are worth billions of dollars, billions upon billions of dollars, that could afford to take a risk on some original ideas, but they don't. Instead, they rehash the same shit over and over again. Oh, you want this movie, this original movie? Okay, well, it's going to follow these same story points. You want this action film? It's going to follow the Dances with Wolves storyline. It's going to follow the Moses story. It's going to follow the Chosen One story. It's going to follow the Destiny story. It's going to Fast and Furious 11. It's all about family, 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 family. Give me a fucking break. How long before Batman reboots itself again? Like, I liked the last Batman movie. I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic. But how long before we reboot that again? How long before we just reboot the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe like they do with the comics? God damn. Like, they can afford to take a risk. They can afford to not have profit. Like, the problem is, too, is that these people operate on the basis of perpetual growth. Every year, they have to make more profit. And it's not even that they make more profit next year. They don't make enough more profit next year. Disney made record profits last year, higher than they made the previous year. And they still laid off a bunch of staff to make up a difference because they were expected by their shareholders to make a certain amount. And even though they came out in the red, in the black again, they had to make choices to lay off a bunch of staff because they didn't make enough more money. That's the other thing too. You got to keep in mind when you hear like Chase Bank and Facebook losing billions of dollars. It's not that they lost billions of dollars. They lost potential billions of dollars. That's it. They didn't actually lose that money. They just lost the potential of that money. They ain't going anywhere, and yet they can't take any risks when it comes to the films and the video games or anything like that. It's very hard for anything like that to come out. It's very rare that we get that. So yeah, we're gonna get the Mario movie. We're not gonna get anything like Bird Boy or Unicorn Wars out of these billion-dollar studios. Now, with something like Cocaine Bear, I think now is actually a point things are turning around a little bit. They're kind of figuring out like we can make a cheaper film and make a whole bunch of money, as opposed to making $100 million film and hoping that makes some kind of profit, sweating over it over the weekend, like with like the Jurassic Park films, for instance. Like Cocaine Bear made a bunch of money. Terrifier 2 is a horror movie that was only made under like not even $1 million. Its budget was less than $1 million and it made like 14 million. It's a huge profit margin. Let's look that up real quick before I go. Terrifier 2 box office. I saw it on streaming. I paid $1 to pay it for streaming service for 1 month to see it. So let's see here. Yeah, so its budget was... Its story is not that good, by the way. It's not really a very story-driven film. Let's see, does it tell us its budget? Does not. Whatever, then. But yeah, the point is, it was under like $1 million. And it made $10 million. So, it already made like 100 times its budget back. Over 100 times, because you have international, worldwide, 15 million. I think it was made like, it was like 800 grand or something like that it was made on. So yeah, it was something ridiculous like that. They're so out of touch what is fun and interesting, and even when they do have something that might be good, they apply the corp filter to ruin it. Not only that, but they run it into the ground, you know? Like, I haven't seen Fast and the Furious since the second movie, but oh my god. Can the 10th film really be that entertaining? If I watched all the Fast and the Furious films, am I going to be that engaged with all of them? Or am I just going to be looking at a bunch of action set pieces, like a little kid playing with cars on his Hot Wheels tracks? Because I'm pretty sure the story isn't that deep, you know? I get that you don't watch those movies for the story at that point, especially if you're in like the third or fourth one and you're trying to watch it for some kind of deep meaning or story behind it. I think that's your problem at that point. But yeah, well, there's a lot of choices out there. It's just... Ooh, I got a comment. Crafty artists, except that AI is already replacing artists in multiple industries. We're already seeing that happen, and it has been reported on. Camera phones didn't replace... Oh boy, didn't replace... Camera phones lack most of the features of professional cameras required to reproduce work suitable for commercial production, and cameras of any sort still require a considerable amount of skill to use, whether that's a camera phone or professional camera. I mean, yeah, that was a point. AI art bots have already demonstrated they can reproduce any artist style at a very high accuracy. It requires zero artistic skill to use. Queen 2 is seriously... is specious? Is suspicious, I guess, I meant to say. Equating the two is suspicious, bordering on disingenuous. You know, I kind of agree and disagree at the same time with this. There's a few points that I agree with it, and some points I disagree with. I think it's just going to be a matter of some lawsuits, you know, when it comes to like the whole style thing. But like the problem is you can't copyright a style, right? Like that's some deviant art high school bullshit I witnessed back in the day in 2004. That's my style. You stole my style. That's my character's pose. You can't have that. Your character can't do that pose. That's my character's pose. That's my style. Doing the cross-hatching thing with the lines going back and forth, that's my style. Why are you stealing my style? That's how it is, so be it. Like, I don't know. I don't create art for money, obviously. If I did, I would have gone into the advertising sector and just had my soul sucked out before me and make a bunch of pamphlets and car things. I don't know. Yeah, I could never get much in terms of commissions. Yeah, I guess at this point I could do like a portfolio and look for someone to hire me as an artist to do their work. But again, I have a hard time with the idea of me creating some artwork for someone else's project right now. Oh, because I have my own ideas. I have my own kids book I want to make. I have my own graphic novels I want to do. Like after I'm done with this painting upstairs that I have in my house, I'm going full on kids book. They try to trademark everything, yeah. You know what? I would say like the corporation probably has more resources to possibly trademark a style than an individual artist does right now. But like everyone has their own style. Like everyone's style, like the whole concept steal like an artist is the fact that people steal from everybody. They are inspired by previous people. Like, oh, this looks like a Cthulhu-based, H.P. Lovecraft-inspired art piece. Oh, this looks like an H.R. Giger-inspired art piece. Like, he's one of my inspirations. Yeah, is the Institute going to sue me because something I make looks something like he would make? Unless it's alt-right plagiarism, like, what's their grounds? I like the aesthetics of H.R. Giger. It's very inspiring to me. I love how it's very dark and muted in terms of its color. I love how it's very biomechanical. I love that fucking look. I love how it looks just dark and evil and sexual. All these elements, man. Like, okay, so there's the H.R. Giger, right? Let's just look at some of my original artwork. Specifically my horror pieces. So here we go. Yeah, here's there you go. Here's a monster coming out of the fireplace. Let's see here. I think 2020 or 2019 is when I did a bunch. Yeah, here it is. Here's a horror book I'm working on, you know. Chaos Weaver, Entity, a Ring. I was going off a bunch of Inktober prompts, so here's an evil ring. Sticks on your finger, ain't coming off. A creature that just sucks out your brain and makes you a zombie. A plant, an absurdly weird-looking plant that eats you. You know, that's the simplest way to describe it, you know? A creature that freezes you. It likes to latch on your face. I don't know. I'm sure that looks like something that exists somewhere in some video game or movie. A corpse golem. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that came up with the idea of a bunch of corpses strung up together to make some kind of golem. Actually, I'm fairly certain there's a thing called an abomination you could find in certain games like Warcraft, where it's just a string of corpses sewn together. A husky with a parasite that turns into some kind of alien creature. An impossible architecture design. Temple leading in a bunch of occultists. A mind flayer. I forgot what the prompt is for this, but this is essentially a mind flayer. A tree, a monster tree. Come on, that's basic bitch shit, you know. I'm sure that's stealing from someone, you know. I'm sure this style to this cross-hatching style, someone does it. Someone else does it. It's my favorite kind of thing to do, though. A dragon, you know, basic dragon. Ghosts. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of Japanese horror icon creatures that have this kind of face to it. This really happy-looking, creepy clown face. I call this the ancient one. I call this the ancient. These are characters I had in mind for, like, since high school. This is like something that would be like in lines of like an H.P. Lovecraft kind of thing, where it's just something that's beyond human understanding, that's manipulating the reality in the world it's in ways you can't even fathom, ways I can't even fathom. And then yeah, here's basic artwork, whatever. Nostalgia Critic poster. Oh yeah, here we go. A tribute to Odd Stories on Odd Stories YouTube. Yeah, Odd Stories for Odd Children, where the guy uses puppets. Some furry commissions, Twitter, whatever. But yeah, I'm sure that's similar to someone out there. You know, there's no escaping it. But yeah, Mind Flayers in D&D. Yeah, obviously, yeah, right? You know, this is pretty much kind of like my take on it. I forgot what the prompt was. I think it was like feeble or feeble-minded or something like that. So, you know, if someone's like, make a Mind Flayer out of thin air without knowing what they generally look like in D&D, this is what I came up with, I guess. But like, you know, if it was an official thing, like if I was trying to make something official, I want to call it a Mind Flayer. I call it like a mind drainer, you know, a mind sucker, a brain sucker, or whatever. A psycher, and it's something basic like that to get around any potential copyright or accusing of copying. Because I'm pretty sure a Mind Flayer is also very similar to a bunch of other monsters in sci-fi novels and comics. Like, I'm pretty sure that parasite from the Husky, that parasite's something you've probably seen in like The Thing. You know, if you want to compare it. Like, you're just ripping off The Thing, you know? You could find something for every kind of concept or idea that's being ripped off somewhere. Mind Taker, yeah, it's a Mind Taker. That's not a Mind Flayer, it's a Mind Taker. This isn't Snow White, this is Snow White. This isn't Pinocchio, this is Pinocchio. Like, I was thinking about making that horror book, kind of. Actually, I have it right here. Like, I was thinking of, at first making this, like, in the style of, like, Doom Eternal or whatever, but I'm like, nah, fuck that. I want to do something more original. So, yeah, that's what I did. Now, the thing is, like, you know, it's just like with artists trying to get attention for themselves. It's always you're always told that, like, fan art will get you a lot of attention because people are actually searching the prompts as opposed to your original artwork. I've actually heard that too from a lot of professional artists who's like, hey, you can make your own thing to make no money, or you know, get your portfolio together, get hired by a studio or an agent, and make a lot of money. So, but I guess, you know, like when I get this kids book on the way and get some pages done, I'm going to start pitching it to a publisher and agent and see what happens. And if not, I'll self-publish it because fuck it, who needs a publisher, right? That's another thing that's the internet has kind of done away with a little bit. It's like the idea that you need a publisher to make your own success. Same thing with music, and the same thing with the AI stuff and the stuff that helps streamline your art process. Hey, now you don't have to take out a second and third mortgage on your house, take out a bunch of loans, and hope to God you make something entertaining enough that you make your money back. You know, there's less risk involved. So, yeah, do your best. It shouldn't be discouraging at all. And as far as like the AI stealing people's styles, yeah, I'm all down for that. I'm all down for them suing and getting their shit protected. Whatever, go for it. I hope the artists win. I just hope it doesn't lead to what I think will lead to, which will be the AI technology being legislated out of existence and gatekept and neutered so well that all it does is just create an easier avenue for spam bots and spam companies, and that's it. You know? But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But that's all I got. I think I'm going to end this now. Went on for quite a bit. Only a couple hours. Good stuff. Thanks for coming, Flint. Thanks for coming, Windsquirrel, Alexander, Dalen, hope everyone is having a good weekend. And until then, until next time. Yeah, I think that was all worth it. That was fun. This was fun. This was a lot of fun. Had fun. Especially since I had notes and plans in place. That's why I kind of did it on here as opposed to my other channel. Like, if you want to see me actually creating this stuff and hang out there, I am on Rotten 8 Creations or Crafty Andy Hangouts, really. That's where I stream the editing process and art making process there. Obviously, the finished videos go on this channel, Weird Source channel, and I got a gaming channel that's in the works there too for later. So let's see if it loads. If it loads, there it goes. So you have the Weird Source channel. You want to check out, see some furry stuff and some other weird stuff. There's that there. And then I have the pause off channel for my gaming highlights. Well, not my gaming highlights. A character called Squigs the Weasel that does gaming highlights and commentary on there. That's the idea, and that's what it's going into. So yeah, that's all I got going on. Yeah, this is actually the opposite of Discourage. I'm actually pretty excited to see what people come up with. Exactly, right? And I'm still kind of worried since I haven't finished school yet, so the future for me is kind of unknown. Yeah, it's unknown for everybody, but I'd say, yeah, go stick with it. Despite my complaints about college, I definitely learned a lot of things I never would have probably picked up on until years later. I have no regrets. I wish I could have gone to school a little longer. I definitely don't regret not getting into like the professional field. Oh, look, my render job froze. That's what happened. Looks like my thing. I was rendering a video and it froze on me. Okay, anyways. But yeah, you know, you haven't finished school yet. Just get your portfolio together. Obviously, I'm not in any position to give you any professional advice in that regard. So for the most part. What I will say, what I think is important, is just to be adaptable. New technology comes out, learn it. A new program comes out, learn it. A new website comes out that streams. I've been looking at Kick right now, like, right? Because even if you're like in the top tier of Twitch, you ain't getting shit for money that way. So yeah, I'm looking at Kick right now. So, you know, just keep an eye out for things. Be skeptical about everything. Don't try not to catastrophize things too much whenever something new and scary comes out. Don't buy into like the hype. Like these articles we went over. This is a lot of fucking reactionary shit. It's just cringy. It's gonna age as well as a. It's gonna age as well as a block of cheese and piss in a blender. That's about as how well as these articles are gonna age. But that's it. Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for coming. Good night. Good night. Turn the music back on.